Hi guys.
So Paige wanted to be in the show today. We'll see if we can fit both of us. That might be a bit tricky. And I probably won't be able to read comments from that distance, but she wanted to be part. We're sorry we didn't get it done this morning. We had church and make sure you put more twist in. You're going to lose that part. We had church this morning and I had chores to go do at the in-laws.
Yeah.
No, you don't give information like that out.
I know.
Nope.
Can I?
No, you can't. You can't. What other things would you like to talk about? This is the rule when we do a live show. You don't jump on and just give out information. So you can talk about bunnies, you can talk about ducks, you can talk about school. What would you like to talk about? That's not personal information. Thank you.
It's been quite a while since I've spun, so.
And I'm really sorry guys, but I cannot see the comments from there. You'll have to choose one. You can choose having Paige on, or you can choose having me be able to read comments. So I will try really hard, but I really can't see any comments because the phone is halfway across the room. Our nights are still in the 50s. Our days are in the high 80s, low 90s. So we've had really nice weather. Every time I move this machine, it starts to get noisy on me. I wonder why. Like I don't have it closed all the way. That's better. Okay. All right, so I can't see a blinking thing. Should I just bring it closer, guys? Because all I see is chicken scratch. Can you read it?
Hi guys.
Can you see? Can you read it?
Yeah, a little
I can't
bit.
read it at all.
I can go up and move it closer.
Well, if you move it closer, they won't be able to see us, honey. Yeah, they won't be able to see you very well. Okay, say it all over again, guys. We'll try again. We'll have little eagle eyes here. Watch.
How about you try and put it in capitals?
Yeah, if you
That
put
might
it in
help.
capitals, we can probably see it a little bit better. What else has happened? We have milk coming out our ears, so I'm making a gallon of yogurt a day, or I'm making ricotta. I made ricotta last night. With ricotta, you end up with 3/4 of a gallon of whey. I can't read it. Can you read it, honey?
Hi ladies from Chelsea.
I still can't read it. Everybody
Hi,
do it in
guys.
caps, all caps, and we might be able to read it. Because in order for both of us to get in, no, don't move it any closer. In order for both of us, no, don't move it any closer. If everybody will put it in caps, we'll be able to read it from here. But the lower stuff, I cannot read a single thing.
Hi.
We
Hi,
saw the
ladies.
hello.
Hi guys.
Somebody off-grid lifestyle said hello. And Tracy said hi, ladies. Thank you. Thank you for the all caps. We are still watering this time of year. Okay, so Nick said, hi, Julie. We're watching you while we're cooking dinner. Is it dinner there? What time is it here? It's 3 o'clock here. I'm glad you're watching. I'm sorry I wasn't on. I meant to be on early this morning, but we slept really well last night. We always sleep really well when we're off-grid. Even if we stay up a little later, I always get up by 6:30. It's like that sunlight comes on and it's an automatic alarm clock. Okay, so somebody is knitting. Hello, this is Nancy. It's evening here, 5 p.m. in Florida, 5 p.m. in Connecticut. So it's 3 o'clock here, just a little after 3. I still have chores to do tonight. The girls have all the animal chores done. They have to check everybody one more time tonight.
Yep.
I have yogurt in the air-crete oven right now. What we have found is if I'll heat it up for about 15 minutes and then turn it off and put my yogurt in, it'll stay hot for about 8 hours, so it's perfect. Even with the temperatures outside in the 50s at night, 2 nights ago I got the air-crete oven really nice and warm for about 15 minutes. And then I turned it off, I put the yogurt in, and in the morning it was perfect. And instead of being super thin, it was super thick. And the oven was still warm when we got up in the morning. So I have found a energy intensive way to make my yogurt. And it does, the only fuel I use is just that 15 minutes worth to warm the oven up. Oh, I missed the last bit, guys. I'm sorry. This is tricky. This is trickier than I thought it would be. How's it coming, kiddo?
Not very good.
Are you not getting enough twist in? So if you're not watching, then what it does is without enough twist in it, it just breaks, right?
Yeah.
So you can't. Here, let's take it off the top rung. So spin with your, no, you're going the wrong direction. You're going the wrong direction. Oh, stop. Just down a bit. Okay, you got to learn how to slow down a little bit and focus, because if you're going in the wrong direction, it definitely isn't going to hold. So you're going to spin that direction, and you're going to slow down just a little bit. Stop, let go. Just keep spinning for a minute. Let me get you started. I'm going to hold it and make sure I got enough twist, and I'm not going to let it in until I know there's enough twist. There shouldn't be any fuzzy. No fuzzy. It needs to be nice and twisted. If I see anything like this, I know it didn't twist enough because it's too fuzzy.
Okay.
So you see how am I pulling on it?
No.
Am I letting it through my fingers?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But I'm kind of pulling my hand back a little and watching the twist, and then I'm letting it in. But you'll see I'm watching it. So
Okay.
you need to make sure to watch it. So let it through a little bit more so it's at the right level for your hands. Let go. Okay, now stop. Stop your feet. Don't go backwards. Just stop them. And you got way too much roving right here. We're going to start with a little bit so that you're not putting too much in. And we're going to go way forward. And that way you have a chance to get enough twist in. So go ahead and start it. Slow your feet down a little bit until you have a good, nice pace. A really good, steady pace. Are you using your eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Your hands are going to be super soft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep your feet going. Nice steady pace. You're a little choppy right now. Steady pace. Nice easy pace with your feet. Okay, now I'm going to hand it over to you. We have a good joint on it, and you're not going to let it in until you see that it's smooth. If it's not smooth, it doesn't have enough twist. Okay? And my hands are super open. Okay? Super open, so I'm not clenching it. All right, sorry guys. Off-grid said, warrior princess, and Mrs. Dirt spinning. She is a warrior princess for sure. So I have this enormous 8-ounce bobbin that I'm trying to fill. I want to do a Navajo ply on it, which is a 3-strand type of a ply. It's really a crochet, a long crochet, but that's what I want to make it. I'm kind of addicted to it right now. This is one that I made thick and thin on purpose. I don't know if you can see the texture on it very well, but it's thick and thin, and it's super soft, and I really like it. And I missed all the comments while I was trying to help her get started again. Okay, slow down, slow down. You're letting it in too fast, and you're letting go of it instead of making it build up some twist. Okay? You're losing it. You're going way too thin there. Open up, stop. Open up this hand. You're holding it way too tight. And you need to move back and forward. Okay. Feet. You got way too tight on this hand because you're not letting your fiber in. Open this hand and you watch. If it's the least bit fuzzy, then you're not doing it right. You need to make sure it stays sleek. There you go. All right, more comments. I have to just look at the right time. Sorry guys. The fiber that she's using is Blueface Leicester, and it is kind of expensive, so the fiber that she's using costs me money, and if she doesn't spin it very well, I can't use the fiber, and she can, oh, you did it again. Stop. You're holding this hand too tight. Pretend that it's a baby chick, and you cannot squeeze down on it. If you squeeze down on it, what happens is that all the fiber from one piece comes out at once. You have to keep it open so that all this other fiber can get a little twist in it and will pull out.
Okay.
If you don't, if this hand gets tight, what will happen is that will happen. You'll get these really skinny parts that don't work. You don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Keep going with your feet. What you want is you want to keep this hand open and it's pulling back. to open up to make sure you're getting the right amount through and it's not just cutting off a whole piece so that it gets way too skinny. Okay? This hand, pretend all this is a baby chick. All right. She's getting much better, but it takes a lot of practice. So, I'm also doing Blue Face Leicester because I love how soft it is, but I think it's a little bit softer. Okay, now you're getting thicker. You don't need to get thicker. This hand is needing to come up here. Let go. No. Up here, really close. No, you're holding it too tight. You're holding it too... If you want to use this wool, you have to listen to me. Keep it open. And all you're doing is just kind of holding it. Are you listening?
Yes.
Nope, you're being stubborn. Let go. Okay. This has to stay open. When you crunch it down like this, then it takes big chunks out instead of being smooth. So, this hand is really just holding it like this and just have fingers in it. See how it's getting fatter and fatter instead of staying the same gauge? Do you see that? Mm-hmm. And you're getting over twisted too. So move it back to the next, no, stop. Move it back to the next peg. Okay, so you're getting too much twist because you're letting it in too fat. You're letting it in too fat. So go ahead and start pedaling. We're going to let some in so you work some of that twist off. See how gentle and soft this hand is? Mm-hmm. If it doesn't stay gentle and soft and open, then your whole yarn falls apart and you want it to stay the same thickness. Okay. The same thickness. And this hand kind of needs to push it in a little bit. Are you actually listening?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I have no idea what people are saying. Sorry, guys. Teaching her and teaching us. You have a very good teacher. Oh, sometimes. Hey, Palmetto, how are ya? Okay, stop your feet, stop your feet. Now look what happened right here. See how fat it got?
Yeah.
You gotta open that back up. What happens when you don't keep it consistent?
It gets ruined.
Yep, it gets ruined. Okay, we're gonna let some of it in so there's not too much twist. And you really have to treat it like it's a baby chick. You have to keep your hands open. What happens with the baby chick if you clamp down on it? Kills it. What happens if you open your hand up too much? It falls off your hand, and then what happens to it? It dies because it hits the ground. So either you squish it or you drop it on the ground. You need somewhere in between, kind of that gentle feel that you have around a baby chick, where you're just holding onto it to keep it safe. Okay, so stop your feet. Okay. Sorry guys, I guess it's more of a family night here at the Dirtpatcheaven than a live show Q&A. Let's see, what else is going on? Everything's dry here. We have had some fires. That's better. That's much better. Very good. Make sure you're not getting too skinny at this point. You're running out. So this is holding on too tight. It needs to open up that ball of fiber in your hand. Love the background. Yes, thank you. We like the background too. We got the curtains in so it helps reflect the light a little bit better. This is the quilt that was made by Keeper. Is it Keeper of the Wheat? I think it's Keeper of the Wheat. She made that for us 3 years ago, just before we left to go on our road trip. And I treasure it very much. And this is actually a sheet from my granny's fancy bed in her house, and I've made it into blankets now. What else do we have so far?
We have the picture of you in Four Seasons.
We do. We have everything in here that's decorated is very, very personal. The things that we have that were retail purchased were out of necessity, not as like, we decorate as much as we can with the things that we love. And I keep missing comments. I'm so sorry, guys. I am really sorry that I cannot see better. But I think you probably want to see the kid. Okay, slow down, slow down. Now you're not getting enough twist in. Slow that hand down. Slow down. See how it's getting fuzzy again? Take a little bit out at a time. You're taking out way too much, and this is way too tight because now it's getting skinny again. Open your thumb up. Open up. Open up. This wool costs about $30 a pound, and Paige likes to go slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Good girl. Kate, you probably want to switch back to the next tooth. Okay? And how long have you been spinning? I'm trying to remember how old you were when you started. 7?
I think it was when we got our first spinning machine wheel.
So you're 7, right? You're 11 now?
I think I was about 6. So
Really?
it's been 5 years.
Okay, you see that big old loop? Okay, wait, you can't let your feet go yet because you have a really big fat gauge right there, and you need to even it out first. See how easy I am with this? Do I clamp down? If I clamp down, it only takes the piece that's right here, but I want it to take pieces from back in here so it stays super, super even. So super, super soft hands. Okay, go ahead and loop it again. And then let some of it pull in without any more twist so that it's not in your way. Now stop your feet, stop your feet, and open it back up again and pull back. There you go. Make sure to keep that hand open. Other questions? Let's see. We do have zucchini that's coming on right now. Okay, wait. That shows that you didn't. You need to slow down. You need to slow down. Let your hands keep up, or let your brain keep up with, no, you got to open it up first. You can't start spinning until you take some of that twist out. Got to open it up. Pull it back and clean it up a little bit. Okay, now you can use your feet. And look how I'm going to fix this. I'm going to open it up and make sure it's super open and that the twist gets to carry up into this fiber like that. I'm going to let some pass in so I can get a little closer to the wheel. Slow your feet down. You're putting way too much twist in. Slow them down. There you go. Make sure you're letting it travel in too. Okay? And do you want to hand me another length? Alright, I'm sorry. Liking the live stream, y'all doing great. Thank you. How is the weather in Idaho? It's beautiful. We're in the 50s at night, and we're in the 80s and 90s during the day. Wait, you make sure you have it opened up and you're ready to go. You're pulling way too, no, you're holding on way too hard and you're pulling way too hard. Open it this way, not this way. Open it this way. Open this way. Okay, so this hand doesn't do it. This hand stays up here, and this one makes sure that everything stays open, okay? All right. I bet that takes a long time to keep a consistent thickness. Well, it takes practice. It's like anything else. What do they say? 10,000 hours to master something. When I was doing my Kickstarter for my for my greenhouse, I was an average spinner, low, not quite average spinner before I did that. But after 6 months of 18 hours of spinning a day, mixed in with some knitting, I got good really, really fast. And so you do have that kind of 10,000 hour to masterpiece, 10,000 hours to master craftsman type thing. And if you will practice 20 minutes a day, you'll get good faster than you would if you just spend 2 hours on weekends. Here, let's turn it the other way because you have a little bit of a mess there. Okay, we're going to open that up. We're going to take some of this off so it's not in your way. We're going to open it up sideways. See how I open up sideways, not back and forth? And that way that work is already done for you. And we're going to start up here and make sure there's plenty of twist in it. No, that was way too much fiber. Hold on. We're just using that little bit of a spider web to connect it. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to make the yarn fatter. We're just trying to, too tight. Your hand's too tight. Think baby chick. You don't want to kill him. So it's like anything else, any other kind of skill, it just takes time. Time and practice, and I do think it probably makes a difference what your tools are like. There's a huge difference between cutting with dull scissors and cutting with sharp scissors, or the same thing goes with a knife, or the difference between using a serrated knife and using a good sharp butchering knife when you're butchering. And so I learned how to spin when I was Paige's age, but I was on an old-fashioned wheel that had bad teeth and that kind of thing. And so if you have a spinning and weaving guild type of a thing in your hometown, it's nice to be able to go try your tools. And make sure that they work well for you and that they're ergonomically correct. Okay, slow down. You're doing a good job, but you have some really fat fiber there, and I want you to let some of it travel in. Let's move your both. There you go. You move both hands forward. That's exactly what you want to do. But now this hand is holding on so tight, so very, very tight that you can't get any fiber out. So stop. That other hand needs to be up here so it can open up the fibers, but you're still holding on way too tight because look how fat it got. Okay, pedal it in just a little bit and we'll get rid of some of this. Okay, stop. You have way too much twist. See how it's doing that? And it's kind of
like a yo-yo string.
Kind of like a yo-yo string.
Too much.
Did you want to get out your yo-yo and you can teach him a trick or two?
I'm trying to remember where I have it.
I hope you put it up after you used it.
I
thought you had it in the couch here in the living room. Did you not have it in the couch in the living room?
I did earlier.
You guys get to see Mom mow today where I'm having to instruct at the same time. It does never feel quite so picturesque when I'm having to instruct and kids start to get cranky. Let's see if I can get some of this worked in.
I'm checking the...
I thought you had it on the couch, honey.
It might be on the couch.
Well, that's where I saw it last.
Okay. I'll go look.
Paige
Here
has
it is.
taken up the great art of yo-yo master.
Yeah, I already know how to do.
Okay, you gotta come over here
pass.
in front of where I am, honey. Or where I was sitting, they can't see you. No, you're gonna have to stand in front of the spinning wheel because you can't stand next to it. Come over here. They should still be able to see you pretty good.
So I can do a forward pass. I can do around the world. I can do walk the dog. I can do sleeper, and I can do a basic power throw, I think it's called, and and a gravity pull.
There you go. Now stand in your spot. I got it all cleaned up.
Okay, so
okay, can you read the comments now that you're closer?
let's see. Past bedtime, so we'll say goodnight to everyone. Almost pumpkin time here. And that was from Eric Conjay, I think. Anyway. How's the weather in Idaho? Alright. I bet it takes a long time to keep a
Okay, go down. You've already passed all those comments, so go down.
Off-grid lifestyle says, out of curiosity, what are your plans
Honey.
What are your plans for the spinned wool?
A lot of times I just play with it and maybe I'll make a hat. With this one, with this particular skein, I'll probably put it on the Etsy store.
And Christy Betts says, cool page. And Off-Grid Lifestyle says, I like walk the dog. I can't do walk the dog because we have the polywog. We have all sorts of delicate stuff in here, but I might be able to.
I'll move the camera.
I'll need to move it. There we go. So that's the best I can do. I hope you could see that. So.
Do you want to go check on Kaya for me?
Sure.
Okay, I can probably bring the camera close now that we don't have two people in it. It just gets a little tricky trying to make it that wide. All right, now I can see comments. Okay. All right, so Paige has been doing that for almost a week now. I told her if I was going to get her a
She's got the blueberries.
yo-yo that she had to actually use it, and I haven't been disappointed. So what we are eating now in the permaculture garden is we have service berries that are on. We have Nanking cherries, apricots, raspberries. The blackberries are not ripe
And
yet.
pears.
Pears.
Miniature pears. They are the sweetest things. Can I turn it so they can see me?
No. I thought you were going to go check on your sister.
She is up at the blueberries.
Did you see her?
She said she was okay.
Okay, you go put your shoes on and you go check on her.
I don't want to get.
I know you don't, but you're going to get your shoes on. You're going to go check on her. So here in about 2 hours, I need to go milk again. I have a lot of stuff I need to be making with that milk. I haven't committed to regular cheese yet, just because you need a very high level of hygiene in order to do that. And I only have 2 pots. I need to sterilize everything, and then I can't use those 2 pots the rest of the day. It just is, it's hard without a whole lot of water to make hard cheese, or even to make something like a fresh cheese like mozzarella. It's pretty easy with ricotta because you don't have any kind of aging, and it's quick. You just add apple cider vinegar or lemon to it, and it curdles instantly. So that one's fast because it's a high temp cheese and there's no waiting. If I want to make a mozzarella that's super fast, I have to use citric acid, which I'd rather not. But if I were to make up some cheeses right now, it would take up a lot more of that milk that I'm bringing in twice a day. We also have 2 baby goats that we're feeding that are still on bottle, so that takes up a little bit of it, but not much. And we sold our biggest producer yesterday. We sold our biggest producer lemon drop yesterday. Every once in a while with an animal, I get a gut feel that I'm supposed to, that there's somebody else that needs them, that I need to have this animal go on. Sometimes, usually it's because they're a very high producer and I get in over my head and I get tired. And with high producers, they can demand a lot of attention. They have a lot of calories that need to go in. You need to make sure they don't get heat stroke. And so that is what I have found. If I brace myself and I stand my ground too much, I'm like, I really don't want to get rid of this animal. I want to keep it. These are good genetics. Whenever I do that, something will happen to the animal. And I have just learned from long, painful experience that when I try to ignore that gut feel that I have too much on my plate, the animal is the one that ends up suffering for it. And so I was very quick this time. I got the feeling, you're getting too much milk, you're getting in over your head, you have too many animals right now, and you're about to leave to go back to Oklahoma. Cut things back a little bit, make it easier for the renter so you're not losing animals. And so we sold Lemon Drop yesterday. Again, she was our biggest producer. Our nicest goat as far as like show quality type goat. And so now we're down to Chai, and then so she's the only one that remains that we own. But our renter has 3 does from us, and as long as she's here, they'll still be here. And any one of those does, if our renter decided she wanted to sell any of them, I would buy them because, again, they're super nice genetics. But even just between these 2 does, all 10 of us plus baby goats, even if we had pigs, there'd be plenty of milk because all of our goats are really high producers. So again, milk coming out of our ears, 2 gallons of milk a day, and that's between one 4-year-old doe and 1 first-time freshener. That's 2 gallons a day. Let's see, Off-Grid Style said, do you take requests for making hats or sweaters and other cool stuff? I can. I used to do it quite a bit, and I've thought about doing Patreon again, because with my Patreon, what I liked to do was send people like spun items and knitted items once a month as their rewards for Patreon, but I just haven't got back to it. I haven't. This time of year is really busy, and I have family in and out of town, and we've had chores that we've been doing for people, and you can see it in our videos in that I'm not putting up content as regularly as I generally do. And it's because this has been a crazy busy summer, even though we haven't made any big long trips to go do filming anywhere. It's been crazy busy. And I'm not sure why it's been so busy, but it has been. But yeah, I have one special order that I just never get to because I don't have my dyes here with me. If I dye my own wool, the price is significantly lower than it is if I have to purchase colored wool. A good bat can cost you $30, a 4-ounce bat, and that's how much you need to make one hat. So if that's what I do, I've already got $30 into that wool, and it might not be enough to make a hat. You might need an 8-ounce. No, 4 ounces should be pretty good. 4 ounces should be plenty for something like a hat or sweaters. But it means that just starting out, if I were to just even spin somebody a skein of yarn, which this 8-ounce bobbin would be 1 skein of yarn, it means I've got $30 into that. So how much would I have to charge then in order to sell it? That means I've got like maybe $60 that I would sell a skein of yarn for, and that doesn't pay me very much, because this spinning this bobbin and turning it into something else, I'll have 8, maybe 10 hours into it. I love it because I love the process, and the only difficulty comes in when I have to sell a product, because unless I can multitask, sometimes what I'll do is I'll spin and I'll edit videos at the same time, and then I can bring the cost down, because I really am multitasking. I'm editing a video and spinning, but generally I can't multitask quite that well and have the product turn out the way I want to. If it's sock yarn in particular, I have to pay very, very detailed attention to how I'm spinning, because it has to be extremely regular and somewhat fine gauge. So it would take me twice the time to make something fine and elegant like sock yarn. So I think personally that spinning is good for a homemaker, because she can sit down and do it, and she doesn't have money into it. She doesn't have to make money off of it. She's saving money by making yarn to make things for her family. It gets difficult to account for those hours if you're actually trying to sell it again later and you've got any money into the wool, which is why I like the combs, the wool combs that I use, because you can take a raw fleece and prepare it, and you can spend very little for that raw fleece, prepare it yourself and turn it into something nice. But it's an old-time craft. They are not low on hours. They're high in value, but they're not low in hours and technique. That's why you pay more for handmade leather shoes than you do for tennis shoes in a Walmart.
Well, you're skipping comments.
Hey Farmall, how are you? Let's see if I can see. I do milk twice a day. I'm getting down to the point where I can milk once a day, but I want to wait. Our first time freshener has the nicest genetics of any of the goats we've owned so far, and she has a ton of milk, and she isn't cutting back at all. Her bag is no less full now than it was in the beginning when she had just kidded. She isn't going down in milk at all, so I may as well milk twice a day and milk everybody. And our pasture is really rich right now, so they have a lot of milk coming just because they're on really, really good pasture. So probably we won't be able to go down to, I was hoping we could go down, but with how rich our pasture is right now, there's no chance we can go down to once a day milking, but it's okay. There's half the milk now that there was before because Lemon Drop is gone, but it's still going to be October before we can go down to once a day. Holsterman said, I like raw wool. Yeah, I really like to spin with raw wool. Sorry guys, I can't see the comments very well, so I'm doing my best. No, we're good. Are you feeling antsy? Is it just nice to be in here where it's cool?
Yeah, and I kind of want to sit on the other side, but they can't see me on the other side.
They can't see you on the other side.
Because I'm about to slide off.
There you go.
That's better.
As far as our comfort level in the cabin, we open windows at certain times. We close windows and drapes at certain times, and so it stays very nice and cool in here, even when it's in the 90s outside. Darwin over at the Honeydew Carpenter is working on an air conditioning unit using aircrete forms and bricks to make us something like a swamp cooler, but it takes very little electricity. You can run off a very tiny solar panel. And so that's what is going to be coming for projects in the future, is to showcase this off-grid air conditioner. Even though we don't really need it, we're quite comfortable in here. We're doing it as a showcase for what can be done, and especially if you're in a much warmer climate. So we're excited to see that.
Your dress.
Oh, I like my dress too. Thank you. I'd like to do some sewing videos here in a bit because I want to make some like modesty shorts. I see I'm wearing an awful lot of short dresses lately to stay cool when I am outside. And I have some patterns for some little modesty shorts that are kind of like a slip for when I go bike riding. Off-grid lifestyle slid. I asked because I would love to have a cashmere sweater or a hat. I would love to make something like that. Cashmere is very expensive. I'm not sure what it costs a pound. I think it's somewhere between $60 and $90 a pound for cashmere, the real thing. You can get faux cashmere, which I believe is a vegetable fiber, but it's supposed to be soft like that. If you're interested in that, you're welcome to ask me, and I can see if I can find some cashmere. But you can imagine how much it would cost if I've got $90 into 1 pound of cashmere, and then I spin it and then I knit it. But if you're interested, I'm more than willing to look it up. I love having projects, and I haven't.
Yeah, she can't stand without them.
I can't stand without them, but I haven't ever worked with cashmere, so that would be something of a fun challenge. I've worked with things that are more difficult than cashmere. I've worked with Angora, Angora rabbit, and it can be quite finicky, but so can merino. It just kind of depends. I'm going to grow lettuce in a small fridge hydroponically. Crazy idea. Oh, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a price list of products you spend? I don't. Usually what I do is I create something that I love, and just because I want to make it, and then I put it up on the Etsy store. And I used to just keep things up there all the time, and then as I made them, I would showcase them, and they would sell pretty quickly. But now I do it as I just don't list them anymore because I just keep forgetting.
Too much work.
Forgetting. Well, not too much work because I'm doing the work anyway. I just forget. And I don't have what, honey?
Editing.
Yeah, I do a lot of editing, huh?
Yeah.
I don't have my dyes here, and the way that I made it affordable for people was that I dyed my own wool. And so my dyes are in Tulsa.
And so is her dye pot.
And my dye pot is in Tulsa. And if you don't have quite a bit of water, dyeing wool is very water intensive. And so anything that I was going to dye, the girls, I have dyed here before. I've done 2 or 3 dye pots here. But the girls had to haul the water.
Not fun.
And since we're already washing our clothes off grid and they're hauling water for that, it just feels like too much. So probably before Christmas, maybe in October, maybe I'll ramp it up and start offering more stuff. Because that's generally when people want to buy wool goods anyways for like a Christmas present.
Wholesome.
Hello from Texas.
Wholesome you. The bottom
So,
one.
so,
Huh?
okay, stop. I don't want you reading them out loud for a minute, okay? So, I have, no, you're not going to read them out loud because I already told you.
I know.
So what else we're doing? We're trying to get rid of some more furniture, which seems impossible because we only have a couple chairs in here. But we are finding that we're using the Swiss balls more, and it kind of stretches us out instead of having us on our bums a lot. In the end of September, we will be sitting for that long drive back to Tulsa, and that kind of takes it out of us as far as our hips and our spines and everything. Hey Pauline, how are you? How long have we been going? I don't even remember. About 40 minutes. Thank you, Rose. I really appreciate it. What else is going on? We had a sheep die the other day. The renters had 2 bum lambs that they'd raised, and we lost one of them. We couldn't figure out what it was. It wasn't bloat this time. We'd had a goat. We lost a bloat a few weeks ago, which we've never had that happen, and she was on hay, not even on green grass or alfalfa or anything.
But it was definitely alfalfa that made her bloat.
No, we don't know that. We don't know that because she'd been on alfalfa. It could have been a poisonous plant or something that was in the hay, but it was hay that she'd been on for a week without any symptoms, and then suddenly she bloated. So this time it was a lamb, no bloat. Those animals are our renter's responsibility, and we come in and we do milking, but for the most part, all the animals are the renters. And what we do while we're here is we do all the watering chores, or most of the watering chores. We keep everything alive, and we help with chores as they need us to. But they're actually the renters' animals, with the exception of the goats.
Except Chai, because Chai's ours.
Yep.
So now we're down to 2 goats and the...
One.
Yeah, but of all the milking goats, we're down to 2 goats, because yesterday we sold Lemon Drop.
Yeah, I'm sorry for my loss too. It was really tragic. It was, hey, Spaceman Skywalker, thank you very much. Much appreciated. It was one of those situations where she was not as perfect as her sister, and I had a gut feeling that we needed to sell her and keep the genetics a little bit more pure. And I get those gut feelings, and sometimes I'm really attached to the animal and I really don't want to let her go, or I feel like I'm down to too few animals and I don't want to let her go. And always, I don't know how that works, because I didn't feel like I had too much on my plate, but maybe I did. But whenever I get those gut feelings and I don't listen, something happens to the animal. So yeah, I definitely moved faster when I had a feeling that Lemon Drop needed to go. In reality, we need very few animals. When we have milk goats and when we were home, what I would do is I would have 1 milk animal at a time, and then I would have one that was pregnant, and then I would have 1 extra, so that if I lost one of my milkers, I wasn't losing my genetics. And so the most that we own anymore are 3. And we don't drink as much milk now as we used to. We used to rely very heavily on milk, on our goat's milk, when we used to live here in Idaho all the time. But now that we're back, we've kind of gotten out of the habit of drinking a lot of milk.
Well, I'm still in the habit.
Kaya likes to drink a lot of milk. If I'd let them drink as much as they want, they'd go through it pretty quickly. But we just haven't. Okay, honey, don't play with it.
I use some salt.
You may. Are you going to use some patience and do a good job? Because this one is the expensive wool.
Okay, can I come over once?
Yep.
I don't want to interrupt.
Do I still play with babies, like as in goat babies? They're on bottles, I guess, if that's the question.
Yeah, we still had 2 baby doe goats, and they're still on bottles.
Yep.
So.
And they use it quite a bit of the milk, which is nice.
And their mom was the one that bloated, so.
Yep. Yeah, probably.
And Kai and me, that's personal.
Yep. Sorry, I still can't see very well.
Do you want me to?
Nope. Thank you, Better Alive. Hi, Aline. Hello, Stringfield. We have about a dozen goats, 5 adult does with 3 in milk. We plan to make and sell goat milk soap. Yeah, if you're going to be, hey Tom, how are you? We don't sell anything. Early on, I looked at the math of everything and the amount of time and then feed that I have to put in an animal. And to me, especially if I don't know that I have a really strong market in the area, I don't make products to sell to people. Just because we have a small lot, we have 1.5 acres, which a big backyard and garden sit on, and an orchard and a house and a road. The road takes up a lot of space. Even though we only have 1.5 acres, we can feed a lot of goats and sheep and everything else and geese and ducks on this property, as long as we take care of it well. And it's a very tiny space, but again, we can grow a huge amount of food here as long as we stay focused. And so I'd rather have a large range of animals than have enough animals that I can sell a product, because what I'm aiming for is healthier land. The wider the range of the type of animal you have, the more specifically you put them where they'll do good. Like geese in an orchard are perfect. They eat all the grass down, they keep the bugs down, and they're just amazing. Ducks are great in a deep mulch system because they root down and they eat all the slugs.
Especially muscovies.
Well, I like muscovies because they're quiet and because they brood, but I don't think muscovies are as good as a normal egg-laying duck at weed control. They don't graze quite as much as a regular duck
Yes,
does.
but they go under the ground and get slugs.
You think so?
Yeah,
I've seen it before.
My opinion is that regular egg-laying ducks do a better job at slug and root weed control, but I like the muscovies because they are broody and that they'll breed me out new babies. Tyler Wood said where we're moving has several large farmers markets, so it really might be worth it to you guys. We don't have a strong farmers market, and I know that for us, when we first started doing it, our budget was so small that it really was all we could do just to raise our own food, rather than putting in infrastructure to try and, but some people really have a knack, and they do a really great job. I have a friend that makes like $3,000 a month with her goats, and she has a very small space. She brings in all of her own hay, so it has to be really worth it to her because she doesn't grow any of her own feed, and what she does is she sells lotion and soap and that kind of thing, and she just does a really great job.
Am I doing this right?
And I think it has a lot to do with personality too. I have a personality. I don't like crowds. I don't like selling things to people. I prefer to show skills, and I like to do them on this side of the camera. I don't necessarily like to do them in person because, again, I have anxiety around other people. Yes, you're doing a fantastic job. Good job. Did you want me to show on the camera?
I would like that.
You would like that? Okay, hold on a second. I'll turn it. Kaya wants you to see her doing her work.
Now I'm out of the camera.
Now you're out of the camera.
Let's see.
Can I come in between you guys?
No, I don't think there's enough room.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Rose says she needs to get into soap more. We have several helpers today. Tyler says the longer I deal with people, the better I like my goats. Isn't that the truth? Yes, and it is why I like homesteading. I seem to get along better with animals than I do people, at least over the long term, if they're not, part of my family.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, what about cats and when they come into the house?
Well, that's because they climb up on the table, and I don't want them in food. We still love our cats even though they're outside, right?
Yeah, we have 4 kittens, one tabby kitten, and 3 gray kittens. Their mom, we can't find her. So, and then their dad is a Siamese.
So he's wild.
And the mom was a tabby, so they're kind of a Siamese / tabby.
Most of them are boys.
Yeah, and the one that I call Tabby looks just like her mom. And her older sister, who's about to have a litter, she is from the same mom.
So she's their old
And
sister.
this is the thing with our kittens. They look so cute because they have kind of an M shape in the middle of their forehead.
Always they do.
Yeah.
They always do.
It's
Tyler
really
said you
cute.
don't have to be accountable to be fed up with people. Well, for me, I like to share my skills, but I'm hyper focused on the skill, and I'm not a big chatter. I like sit in my own head and wish I was reading a book generally when I'm around other people, because I feel like I say stupid things. And so
That's
YouTube.
me, actually. I
Is
say
it?
lots and lots of stupid things.
Do you? I've never noticed.
Well, you won't
Make sure you're
know
not
most
doing
of the
thick and
time.
thin. Make sure you're doing consistent. Now it's too tight right there. You need to let it in a little bit, otherwise it's going to snap. Because that was pretty tight. Oh, now you don't have enough space. Here, start back here. Do a super thin spider web. Okay, stop. You're going to open it up so you have a super thin spider web. And you're going to start here and let it wrap around a bit and let it go in. Let's let it go all the way in really quick. And now stop your feet. Stop your feet. Open it up bigger. You're going to kill your chick. I don't want to see any thick and thin. I want it really regular, which means you're going to have to open that hand up a little bit and let some fiber in. Open it up. Let some fiber in. All right, we got 10 minutes left. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, requests for videos? I have a big old list of videos that I need to be making, and we'll see if I can get them out.
Can we put my yarn up on Etsy?
Well, I've already got the hat to do, honey. You need to let some more twist in.
No, my yarn.
You need to let some more twist in. Open your hand up.
Get a little thicker.
Nope, you need to let more twist in. Look, back all the way here. If it's not, see how it pulls right apart? You're not letting enough twist in. And it's not having any integrity.
Oh, and sorry we skipped a whole bunch of comments. Oh, there's someone.
What's the best way to store goat cheese and how long? It depends on which kind of goat cheese, because you can make pretty much any cheese out of goat cheese. If you're going to be doing cheddar, a lot of times you can use a wine fridge because it controls humidity. If you're doing mozzarella, you want to keep it in the fridge. If you're going to do ricotta, you want to keep it in the fridge. You just want to keep it cool. You don't want it to get overheated. I've spinning. Oh, thank you. I can't see who said that. Somebody said something about spinning.
I think it might have been I love spinning.
Denise, the wandering artist. Are Swiss and Gouda made from goat milk? No, I don't believe so, but you can make it out of goat milk. I mean, you just have to add the culture and add it to the right temperature and get your rennet in and then age it. So those are Gouda and Swiss are aged cheeses. And so it's about what start you put in, what temperature it comes up to, what temperature it cools to, what point you add the start in. That's really the skill of cheese, is the temperature, controlling the temperature and adding the right start at the right time, and then keeping it at the right temperature and humidity, the right temperature and humidity as it cools or as it ages. And again, you don't have to have a cheese cave. You can do it in a wine refrigerator that controls your humidity and your temperature. I have a book that I recommend, and I'm trying to remember what it is. If you go to New England Cheese Company, their book is fantastic, and they have all the starts, New England Cheese Company. I think her name is Ricky, if I remember right, but don't hold me to that. But she has an amazing book. Hi, out of Goshen, how are you? Sorry guys, I think I've been using face oil lately, and I think I've got it in my eyeball. Okay, I'm having a hard time reading. So I'm going to move that down a little bit. Are you back on the farm? Yes, we're on the farm. Yeah, technique makes a difference. It's all about timing and everything else. Denise said she liked my faith crisis. Woo, that was a long time ago. I have been doing this so long. You guys don't...
We've been on this exact same topic for so long, actually.
What, today?
Spinning. We've been for like weeks. We've only been doing spinning wheel
Really?
race. Yeah,
Interesting.
ever since Catherine came up.
Gotcha. Okay, we got 6 minutes left. Any questions left? I probably won't get to playing this tonight. I'm just about full on the bobbin, but I don't think I was hoping to get to playing tonight, but I won't. Okay, wait. Stop. See how hard that is? It means you have been letting too much fiber in, and you need to let that twist off a little bit, and you need to open that hand up. Okay. Let's see. No baby chicks were harmed during this live stream. That is true, unless they were in their hand in the same crushing way that they have that wool in their hand. I came to that analogy the last time we had baby chicks, that if I didn't treat the wool in this hand like a baby chick, I was either going to throttle it to death or drop it. And so you have to kind of think that. You have to think baby chick. You don't want to drop it on the ground, but you don't want to strangle it to death. If you lick me, you're going to get an elbow in your nose, and you will not think it's funny.
I didn't. I'm just getting a little tired.
So, how do you like being back on the farm? What is the biggest take from the family trip?
Hey Mom, after we do this video, oh, tell him that Dad is coming up.
So, I love being on the farm, mostly because I love being off-grid. It's my favorite thing in the world to be here and play with the little house, be off-grid, and have things be super simple. That's my favorite part. The biggest takeaway from the trip is you can really do anything you want to do as long as you're willing to work hard enough for it. The trip was not easy. The trip was not easy. We met people that I really, in my heart, wanted to meet so badly. Deep South Homestead was one of the biggest. Off-Grid with Doug and Stacy was another one.
Yeah, but the drive there was pretty rainy and everybody got pretty cold on the drive to Deep South Homestead.
We had normal life happen to us. We had problems with the RV, but we did it. And I think sometimes when something sits really heavy on your heart and on your mind, you should do it. For us, it was a blessing that we were out of debt with the exception of our house. So all we had to do was find renters for our house, and we had a disposable income as far as like we could move and I could work and we could continue to make a living while we were on our trip. That was a big deal. I guess it gave me huge confidence in that if you're willing to work hard enough to do something, you can do it. Just like going to Hawaii when we went to Hawaii. It was a sacrifice. It was a huge sacrifice to go to Hawaii, but it was a goal that I had set a year beforehand. And so even though...
Yeah, when I was like 6, I decided that on my 8th birthday, I wanted to go down to Hawaii, but I decided not to on the way back up to Idaho, because I had already too much traveling.
Yeah, the traveling came to a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway you could get from a trip like that is that just because it's a dream doesn't mean it's going to be utopia. It is going to be something you learn from. It's going to be something you enjoy, but when you come out the other end of it, it really makes you understand that real life is real life and dreams are wonderful to fulfill, but it's still real life and you're going to have ups and downs while you're fulfilling that dream. That doesn't mean they're not worth fulfilling, because they are. Those dreams are worth fulfilling. But don't think of it as a fix-all. A trip like that or fulfilling a bucket list dream is not a fix-all. It doesn't fix life. And you take yourself with you everywhere that you go. So if you find you have a weakness in real life that you wish you could get rid of, it doesn't go away just because you go and fulfill this dream. Unless that was really the focus of the dream, was to get rid of that part of yourself that you didn't like. So I guess those kind of dreams turn into adventures, and adventures are not always pleasant.
Yeah.
They're just worth doing. I think they are worth doing.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a time when you have to look at it and say, we have fulfilled this, let's move on. Let's move on to another dream. Or let's calm down and kind of reassess what we want to do.
For you and Dad, but
Don't, honey.
I'm not.
And the nicest thing is that in our modern era, it seems like dreams are really open to people. The thing that you really want to do is really quite possible without having a lot of money. We've never made a lot of money doing what we're doing. Most people would probably consider that we really made hardly any money, but because of the way that we went about it, it didn't matter that we didn't have a lot of money. We knew how to be very conservative with our money and put money towards things that mattered, and
Can I say something?
have experiences rather than souvenirs to bring back, if that's the right way to put it.
For you and Dad, the trip, our feed trip was like a dream, but it wasn't.
For Dad.
Uh,
My excitement was
And
to
it
see
was-
Danny and Wanda.
and it was an adventure, but nobody really liked the actual traveling.
The traveling was tricky, huh?
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah,
The traveling was
especially
hard.
in Colorado. Remember that one time?
Yeah.
Okay,
When-
stop. You're gonna stop. You're gonna stop. Thank you. If you guys have ever watched Justin Rhodes, you'll see what happened with them, as far as that Rebecca came back super sick and really stressed out. It was no lie. Just because they were showing a lot of the tours of people they were going to visit, like what we did, we showed a lot of tours. I think we as a family showed more in our videos about the real life of some of the struggles of RV living and being on the road. And I think Justin and Rebecca kind of held a lot of that back, because generally it's not what people want to see is the reality. But what you did see in the end was when by the time they got back home, she was really sick. She was really stressed out. It was really hard on them. They actually traveled to all the states, whereas we made it through a lot of states, and then we got down to Florida and we hit as many states as we could on the way back. But our trip on the way back was much faster.
Yeah, I took all night and all day without any stopping, and I got cramped because I was like sleeping with my head where my butt was supposed to be and my feet up on the chair, and I got pretty cramped, and I was the one that begged Paige to turn the TV off because I was having a hard time sleeping with how loud it was.
It was one of those things where we had intentions of doing it one way, and real life came in, and we got halfway through what we thought we would. And the reason we had to cut it short was that it was springtime, and it was time for me to come back and start taking care of the irrigation and everything here on the farm. So it wasn't that we weren't happy to keep traveling. It was that at that point, out of necessity, I needed to come back and help the renters with the property. I can't see very well, guys. Okay, let's see.
How many more minutes do we have left on it?
Yeah, Wholesome Root said it really exhausts them. It did. It can be really hard. Experience is a reward, especially if you could do it with family. Stress makes you really sick. Been there. They did daily videos. That's hard enough. Cortisol can really mess with you. Well, yeah, daily videos are very hard, and when you have to do it on the road, it is exhausting. And in order to make it beneficial for your business at that point, you have to have the field trips. You have to be going in and seeing what other people are doing. And for us, that's what most of our videos were. They were of other people's property. And then we would throw in maybe one a week that showed what the life on the road was like and the real experience. And we didn't, there was no way for us to dress it up. In order to get that much traveling in that short of a time, you're moving every day. You're not stopping for 3 weeks and resting. You're moving every day in order to get to your new filming location. So it's not a relaxed, laid-back type of a trip.
It ain't fun either.
We only stayed somewhere twice for more than 2 days. Only twice in that whole time we were traveling.
One of the spots was Danny and Wanda.
Danny and Wanda. We stopped at Danny and Wanda's twice like that and stayed for 2 weeks. Once at Christmas, and then on the way back home, and we stopped in Silver City for 2 weeks. But for the rest of that, we were traveling to new locations every single day, and that kind of pace is not healthy.
What do you think so far? Mom, what do you think so far? And then
Ooh. That looks really good.
I think the fly show's about over.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out. I think the price for a wine cooler that I had seen was like $200, maybe. So All right, we're going to head off, and I'm going to go make dinner for kids, and
Lunch,
thanks for
actually.
watching.
See ya.
I already made you lunch.
Bye. I didn't.
Yeah, I made lunch. You
No?
had lunch? Okay, all right, I'm going to take off, and we will talk to you later.
I don't know what you're talking about.